Ladies and gentlemen, I have just received word that the men of the 2018 graduating class of Morehouse College are moving from the Martin Luther King Jr. International Chapel lining up on Wellborn Street. And very soon they will be on their way. It's commencement time at Morehouse College. It's commencement time. The line of march is going to be led by drummers in the African tradition. And those of you who can remember back 4 years ago when your son marched into King Chapel, welcome to the house, the parents' parting ceremony, the drummers were always there. So marching today and leading the processional will be drummers, some of those same drummers that brought your sons in on those momentous occasions. I call your attention to the screen where you may view the pageantry that is taking place as the line of march begins to move. There you see a shot of a very, very famous scene there. And you see us together on the Century campus. There are the drummers. That means the graduates are on their way. The line of march is going to move through the gate on Brown Street, the entrance to the campus. And in a moment, you're going to see faculty lined up forming a corridor, and you're going to see members of the alumni reunion classes lined up. The faculty will represent the past of studying and gathering information and taking exams and all of the things that go along with matriculation. And the past, of course, is no more because today they are no more students. The alumni represent the future because today your son, near the end of the program, will become a Morehouse man. Leading the academic processional, you will see the mace bearer, Dr. J.K. Haynes, Chief Ceremonial Marshal. Dr. Haynes has touched the lives of hundreds and hundreds of Morehouse men. In his pivotal role as department chair, professor, there you see the Valedictorian and the Salutatorian. You're going to meet them again on the program. There they are, 4.0 and 3.99. That means they probably don't know what a B looks like unless it has several pluses in front of it. There are the division banners. The students are marching in divisions. And there they are turning the corner as they are going to be entering the gate. The various divisions, they will receive their diplomas by division today as well. And there you see the faculty marshals leading them in. The chief academic officer and second in command at Morehouse College is interim provost and senior vice president for academic affairs, Dr. Michael Hodge. You will hear from him too later in the program. The faculty there are forming the corridor that I just mentioned, which is very, very symbolic. When the men move through this gate today, one last time, this will be the last time they will be a man of Morehouse, because when they exit the gate and go home, they will be a Morehouse man. Now, parents, tell me, how do you think it's going to feel that in your house, at your table, will be a Morehouse man. Get ready. It's a wonderful journey. The other drummers, they're going to be moving up Brown Street, which is the street that goes through the campus, and they are going to move behind Graves Hall, and then I'll let you know what other wonderful things will take place as they do. There they are, turning up Brown Street. At the gate is a founder's representative standing guard at the gate, representing the founder and co-founders of Morehouse College. They are dressed in Oxford gray cutaway coats, hickory striped trousers, matching Oxford gray waistcoat, white 4-in-hand Oxford gray tie, and black satin top hats. What a grand presence they make. But they are also symbolic, because when the last graduate clears the gate, these sentinels will declare the end of an era by locking the gate. Students no more. When these men exit the gate, as I said earlier, they will have been transformed during the service or the ceremony. Now we can hear the drums as the long gray line moves up the hill. The drums are approaching. So listen, listen, listen to the sound of the drums that accentuate haunting rhythms of ancient past. Listen to the sound of the drums that create cadences for marching feet and beat out new rhythms for achievement and success. Listen, listen to the sound of the drums. Listen to the sound of the drums that bring marching feet, that bring marching feet, that bring marching feet of Morehouse men. Ladies and gentlemen, they are almost here. For some of you, this day may have seemed longer, but 4 years went by, did they not? And what you dreamed of and prayed for and looked forward to is now taking place on this bright, sunshiny morning, where the ambiance of the air and the climate are all working in our favor. Because this time last year, if you were here, as you remember, it was torrential rain and we were inside. There you see the line moving up. There's the sentinel closing the gate. That means the last graduate is now moving up Brown Street. And you can hear the drums grow nearer. You can see on the screen, maybe you see your son. So give him a shout out. He can't hear you, but it'll make you feel better. The drums have now entered the arena. The drums are here, and the men of the class cannot be far behind. Ladies and gentlemen, they are here. Ladies and gentlemen, the men of the 2018 graduating class are here. So let the drums grow silent. Let the drums grow silent. Let the drums grow silent for the crowning. Morehouse holds a crown above the heads of our sons and then challenges them to grow tall enough to wear it. 4 years ago, you brought your sons to us in order that they might grow tall enough to wear the proverbial crown of which Dr. Howard Thurman spoke. And now the crowning moment has arrived, for your son has indeed grown tall enough to wear the crown. Let the drums grow silent. Let the drums grow silent for the crowning. A few days ago, when all grades were in, all scores were tabulated, and all assessments were registered, over 300 men stood at the gate of the world and petitioned entry. And the world asked, who are these stately men standing on yonder hill, and what do they represent? And Morehouse answered, these are they who in the prophetic fulfillment of their dreams represent the best in ability and capability that the world needs. These are they who are ready to do God's work in the vineyards before them. Then the world asks, by what authority do they march today? And Morehouse answered, they march by the authority of their conquering spirit as they challenged obstacles, defied odds, and contradicted statistics that said that they would be a jailmate instead of a college graduate. Then the world asked, who are those who will stand as a cloud of witnesses to the redemptive fulfillment of their dreams? And Morehouse answered, these are they, with tired feet from working on second and sometimes third jobs to make mortgage payments on financed homes, on high interest loans, on maxed out credit cards in order to pay his tuition, purchase books, pay rent, buy iPhones and Androids and tablets and laptops in order to give their son the chance that they may never have had themselves. Then the world asked, who gives testimony to their journey? And Morehouse answered, their journey is sanctioned by the tears of a praying mother who walked the floor way in the midnight hour, comforted by the knowledge that she served a God whom she knew had not brought her thus far to leave her here. Morehouse answered, their journey is sanctioned by the faith of a loving father who says, I almost let go. I almost let go. But God held me close so I wouldn't let go. And my son is marching today because I wouldn't let go. Morehouse answered that journey is sanctioned by the care of a watchful grandfather, grandmother, loving sister, brother, auntie, cousin, uncle, or godparent. Morehouse answered that journey is sanctioned by the vigilance of a single mother as she walked the floor away in the midnight hour, sending up fervent prayers, not knowing what to do or how to do it or when to do it when the pink slip came and layoff followed. and savings were spent, and foreclosure was imminent. She didn't know what to do, but all the time hoping and all the time believing, and all the time trusting in a God who surely would make a way somehow. Because of these prayers, sacrifices, and unyielding faith, these young men march today in the powerful and collective presence of their accomplishments. Then the world asks one final question. Who are these who stand near with a light in their hands? Morehouse answered, these are they who make up the village that it took to raise a student to the potential of his greatness. These are his grade school teachers, neighbors, friends, community leaders, elected officials, their pastor and parishioners, including Sister Bessie in his church, who pressed a few dollars in his hand every time he came home and urged him to keep on keeping on, boy. You keep on keeping on. Then the world proclaimed, they are ready. They are ready. They are ready. Let them enter and be certified in this moment of their crowning. For, ladies and gentlemen, you will see nowhere else in the world such a glorious array of men so well prepared for service. Nowhere else. So today, men of the graduating class of 2018, put on your crown. Put on your crown and wear it well. For now the battle is over, and now the victory is won. And here they come a-marching. Here they come a-marching. Here they come a-marching. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 graduating class of Morehouse College. You may be seated. And now, men of the 2018 graduating class, in recognition of your many achievements, please prepare for the entry of the Morehouse Torch of Excellence. The flame of the torch represents enlightenment and hope. We ask you as the flame of the torch flickers by you and the light is symbolically bequeathed to you, we ask you to contemplate for a moment, your preparedness to serve as a guiding light for others throughout the world. And now, the torch will enter. The torch runner today is Trey Simons, a rising Morehouse College senior from Bermuda. Mr. Simons is an economics and pre-dental major, and he is a two-time SIAC cross-country champion. Mr. Simons will now place the torch in its holder and extinguish the flame. Thank you. Thank you. Please see more information concerning the Torch of Excellence in your commencement program. Now, our founder's representative, the Reverend Dr. Woodrow Miller Jr., will come for the ringing of the bell, which will be followed by the commencement evocation by the Reverend Dr. Aaron L. Parker, class of 1975, pastor of Zion Hill Baptist Church in Atlanta. Dr. Parker is also Associate Professor of Religion here at Morehouse College.
Good morning. I am Woodrow Miller Jr., pastor of Harmony Baptist Church in Augusta, Georgia, the second home of the institution that would one day become Morehouse College. The ringing of the bell from the first church, Old Silver Bluff Springfield Baptist Church in Augusta, where Morehouse originated, was also the clarion call of our founder, the Reverend William Jefferson White, who convened the first Equal Rights Convention in 1866. That history has cast a long shadow on Morehouse College. As the founder's representative, I am honored to declare that the 151st school year of Morehouse College is now closed, and the 134th commencement exercise are now in order.
Let us pray. Oh God, we come at this sacred moment and on this hallowed occasion, first acknowledging our stark inability to fully grasp who, what, and how you are. Therefore, we come in faith, seeing through a glass dimly, begging forgiveness for our collective intellectual hypocrisy in publicly calling upon your name. Nevertheless, we seek an acute awareness of your sublime presence in this solemn and sacred space. Yes, God, in this consecrated space, where proud parents and grateful guardians fight back tears of joy and boisterous hallelujahs because a great, long-awaited ceremony is underway in this precious space, where other family members and friends have assembled as a tremendous throng of adoring fans who want nothing more than to see their favorite player in this 2018 class do well and win. Yes, in this providential space, where all the toil, time, encouragement, correction, prayers, advice, threats, and financial sacrifice have culminated in this regal ritual of stellar accomplishment and exuberant celebration. Yes, God, we come to this dedicated space, and we come in faith, petitioning you for blessings upon us all, but particularly upon these young men who sit before us, adorned with sun-kissed faces and royal black robes, and who aspire to be Morehouse men. Let the compass of your wisdom guide them, the caress of your peace console them, the wonder of your love transform them, and the fire of your power inspire them. Yes, God, light a fire in them, one that the winds of injustice cannot blow out, the waters of tyranny cannot drown out, the feet of oppression cannot stamp out, and the sands of evil cannot put out. Yes, God, light a fire in them, a fire that will not permit them to settle for mediocrity, mere assimilation, ill-acquired wealth, or self-consuming individualism. Give them an insatiable hunger for integrity and a perpetual longing for knowledge. Indeed, God, light a fire in them, a fire that can bear all things, believe all things, hope all things, and endure all things. And if perchance they attempt to rid themselves of this holy flame, let it become like fire shut up in their bones, so that they cannot help but speak truth to power, healing to brokenness, restoration to depletion, and even life to death. Please now, God, hear our humble prayer. Amen.
Please stand for the presentation of colors as the Morehouse College Navy Reserve Officers Training Corps Color Guard team comes forward. The presentation of colors will be followed by the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner and Lift Every Voice and Sing, led by the world-renowned Morehouse College Glee Club under the direction of Dr. David Maurer, class of 1980, and accompanied by Dr. David Oliver, college organist. You may be seated. It is my pleasure at this time to bring to the podium Mr. Willie E. Woods, Chairman of the Morehouse College Board of Trustees and a member of the Morehouse Class of 1985. He is President and Managing Director of ICV Partners in New York City, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chairman Woods, who will bring remarks and introduce the President of Morehouse College. Chairman Woods.
Thank you, Dr. Watts. On behalf of the Morehouse College Board of Trustees, I welcome all of you to Morehouse College commencement exercises for the class of 2018. Parents and family members of the graduates, thank you for your love, prayers, and sacrifice. Faculty and staff at Morehouse, thank you for your dedication and service. And to the many friends of Morehouse College, we appreciate your support, loyalty, and generosity. At this time, I would like to invite my colleagues on the board to please stand and be recognized. To our newest trustee emeritus, Dr. Ben Blackburn, who served on the board for more than 30 years. Please stand and allow us to salute you, Dr. Blackburn. Thank you all for helping make this day a reality for these fine young men who dreamed of one day graduating from a place called Morehouse College. To the class of 2018, we honor you today because of your commitment, hard work, and determination. Each of you decided a few years ago to accept the challenge to begin the journey to become a Morehouse man. While the journey ends today, the responsibility continues forever. From this day forward, great things are expected of each of you. Much has been sacrificed to help you get to this day. Your responsibility is to continue to work hard, to be better than average, to press toward higher standard, and to strive every day to ensure that your success validates that sacrifice. Congratulations on your achievement, and may God be with you as you begin the next phase of your lives. Thank you. Let's give it up for the class of 2008. Now, at this time, it is my distinct honor and immense pleasure to introduce all of you to the 12th president of Morehouse College, Dr. David A. Thomas. He is arguably a 21st century visionary leader, a well-defined and impactful scholar, a consensus builder of the highest esteem, a pioneering spirit with prolific insight for meaningful fundraising. And just in case you have not heard, this dynamic leader brings to Morehouse College 30 years of extraordinary experience in higher education, buttressed by a litany of remarkable credentials. PhD degree in organizational behaviors and studies, Master's of Philosophy degree in organizational behavior, both from Yale University, Master of Organizational Psychology degree, Columbia University, and a Bachelor of Administrative Science degree from Yale College. And just in case you have not heard, his impressive record of service in higher education includes Associate Professor of Business Administration at my alma mater, Harvard Business School, and later the H. Naylor Fitzhugh Professor in Business Administration at that same institution. Assistant Professor at the Wharton School of Business, Dean of the McDonald School of Business, Georgetown University, where his amazing work included launching the school's first online degree program, spearheading a $130 million capital campaign, adding the global business experience and an Office of Professional Development for undergraduates, and increasing the diversity of the faculty and staff, providing funding for new research initiatives. Despite his many laudable successes in higher education, Dr. Thomas has never forgotten the mandates of service leadership, as demonstrated most significantly by his dedicated membership on the boards of directors of DT Energy, the American Red Cross, the Posse Foundation, and a number of other service organizations. His honors and awards for leadership in business, his invaluable consultancy on issues relating to organizational change, and his published research in managing diversity in the workplace are all indicators of his pioneering spirit in higher education. Above all, the contagion of his energy and the depth of his passion for education of our nation's youth are already hard at work at Morehouse College. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us as we welcome the 12th president of Morehouse College, a 3-time distinguished graduate of Yale University, Dr. David A. Thomas, who will now preside at the podium during our commencement proceedings. Let's give it up to Dr. Thomas.
Thank you, Chairman Woods. Good morning, Morehouse. I am reminded this morning of the Sunday mornings when I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri. We went to church every Sunday morning in Sunday school. And my father loved gospel. And one of his favorite gospel singers was Mahalia Jackson. And she used to sing a song that used to wake me up, and I would suddenly hop out of bed, and I loved the rhythm of it, and I'm reminded of it this morning. That song was called A Great Getting Up Morning. And this is a great getting up morning for me, and I hope for you. To members of the Board of Trustees, platform guests, alumni, faculty, parents, and especially to the men of the graduating class of 2018, the great 1-8. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 134th Commencement Convocation, another celebration of excellence of Morehouse College. An institution that has mattered significantly for 151 years. This time last year, Morehouse paused to engage in celebrations to mark 150 years of an unparalleled history. Today, 1 year later, especially during this season of celebration, we continue to take Sankofa moments to look in both directions, back on a storied past, but forward to a promising future. For we recognize that anniversary celebrations are important to any culture and to any people, because such observances are a way to strengthen meaningful relationships, to review purpose and direction, to enhance continuity, and to embrace community. And above all, to chart and design new pathways for success. As we continue to engage in celebration, however, we must also include expressions of gratitude. To say thank you. Thank you to those whose support through the years has mattered significantly. To our faculty and staff who spent countless hours in the lives of our students, engaging them in reciprocal teaching and learning, advising, mentoring, counseling, and then watching as they developed along the way. To you, we say thank you. We realize that many tides have crested during these 151 years, but the authentic nomenclature of our history is a profound record of uninterpreted performance, of service, provided by our alumni, a number of whom sit in reunion today. Men who answered the call to serve, and serve they did, and continue to do so throughout the world. To our alumni, then, we say thank you. We especially celebrate the unyielding commitment of parents and others in the lives of our graduates. You, whose dawn to dusk, continuous support has remained, whose heartfelt resolve never got weary, and whose prayers never lost focus. As these buttress the journey of your sons and your grandsons, your brothers and your nephews, your uncles and your cousins, with a faith that would not let go. To you, we say thank you. We celebrate our supporters and our sponsors, without whose assistance achieving success would have been difficult, if not impossible, for this institution. To you, we say thank you. But a loud and fervent thank you must be reserved for celebrating the excellence of one of the greatest classes that has entered the gates of Morehouse College. A talented class, over 390 strong. And well prepared for service and leadership. An energetic class committed to making a significant difference in the lives of others. And a dynamic class filled with promise. As future economists and politicians, lawmakers and medical professionals, scientists and businessmen, specialists in language and literature, computer scientists and historians, social scientists and preachers, philosophers and teachers. New leaders in a times of challenge and change, in a 21st century, unlike any century we have seen. Practitioners of excellence and champions of achievement. And because of their commitment to serve, the universe will never be the same again. So stand up, class of 2018, the great 1-8, stand up. Stand up, as we will expect for you to stand in the life that awaits you when you leave this hallowed hill. To you, we say thank you. Join me in giving this class another round of applause. And gentlemen, while you are standing, I ask you to turn and face the audience and give your parents and significant others a round of applause for their counsel, many forms of support, and especially their love. Thank you. Thank you. Gentlemen, you may be seated. And now I want to take a few moments to talk about this season that we are in. It is a season of commencement. In my own family, since last Friday, and by the time I lay my head on a pillow Monday night, I will have attended 4 commencements. 1 here this morning, and 3 for members of my family. Commencement, I am acutely aware of today, means beginning. Commencement does not mean the end. We stand, these 390 gentlemen sit in a moment of commencement, a moment of beginning. And I fervently believe that we at Morehouse College stand at a moment of beginning. A moment of beginning to celebrate our renewed vision, powered and sustained by the guiding spirit of our mission and its core values. As we give life to new aspirations, as we blaze trails for new paths of service, and as we move forward with renewed energy to engage an exciting future. Let me hasten to say that I am pleased to be president of Morehouse College at this time in the history of this great institution. For on the heels of our 150th anniversary last year, we must now consider how we can secure the next 150 years. This arduous task will require us to examine all aspects of what we do and how we can continue to make a distinctive and unique impact on the world. As I envision the pathways we must fashion and engage, I am inspired by the words of American poet Langston Hughes, important for his shaping of the artistic contributions of the Harlem Renaissance, and whose powerful vision is trumpeted in his electrifying poetic words, "I dream a world. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul nor avarice blights our day, where wretchedness will hang its head and joy like a pearl attends the needs of all mankind. Of such I dream my world." Inspired by Hughes and with similar fervor, I dream a Morehouse. I dream a Morehouse situated as a gateway for cultural familiarity and global exchange, positioned on the growing edge for discovery of new knowledge, and designated as a repository of best practices for creative leadership and for exemplary service throughout the world. I dream a Morehouse. I dream a Morehouse as a must-go-to institution, as a well-defined institution, and as an uncompromising institution for inclusive excellence and for unlimited achievement. I dream a Morehouse. And yes, I dream a Morehouse as a premier liberal arts college in the world, attracting and educating Black men and other men who identify with the mission and values of Morehouse College. I dream a Morehouse. Such an institution can raise its endowment over the next decade to become need-blind in its admissions and to ensure that any deserving young man can matriculate without financial constraint. Such an institution can more than double alumni giving from currently 17% to more than 40%. And such an institution can then make sure that the next group of incoming freshmen, who will be the class of 2022, will have a 4-year graduation rate exceeding 70% in a culture of completion. We will look in part to you, the men of this distinguishing graduating class, men whose invaluable support will be a constant in making this part of the dream come true. Finally, men of this preeminent graduating class, the torch of excellence which followed you in the line of march today remains on the stage, unlighted throughout the ceremonial exercises, because you, our graduates, have been commissioned to carry the proverbial light in your hearts and minds. And at the end of the ceremony, when you march together as a class up that historic hill one last time, you will take with you emanations from the Morehouse Torch of Excellence as you go out into a waiting world to perform sustained leadership and service. This is why we celebrate the men of the talented, promising class of 2018, the great 1-8, whose life and work will be a perpetual candle in the dark. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our celebration of excellence. Welcome to Morehouse College. Earlier this week, we named Mr. Henry Goodgame as our new Vice President for External Relations and Alumni Affairs. He is also our chair of the Commencement Planning Committee and Reunion Weekend, and therefore responsible for praying up this beautiful morning and all that we are experiencing here together. So I would like to bring him to the podium to highlight just a few of the extraordinary achievements that have defined this academic year at Morehouse College. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, men of the class of 2018. This has indeed been an exceptional year in the history of Morehouse College, and today I am pleased to share with you some very impressive highlights. First, billionaire investor and philanthropist Robert F. Smith, recipient of this year's Candle Award in Business and Philanthropy, contributed $1 million to the college during this year's A Candle in the Dark Gala to support student excellence at Morehouse College. Thanks to the relationship established by trustees Billy Aaron and Harold Martin, the Aaron's Company launched the Aaron's Scholars Program to provide scholarships to first-generation college students. These scholarships will be underwritten by another $1 million gift benefiting 20 Morehouse students each year through 2022. J.P. Morgan Chase increased their investment in Morehouse by contributing to an additional $125,000 to help the College Entrepreneurship Center, which supports small business owners, including our students, to sell their products and services. J.P. Morgan Chase's initial $400,000 grant launched the Ascend 2020 Atlanta project in 2017. The Division of Science and Mathematics has been awarded a $1.5 million grant, HBCU Identity Research Center grant by the National Science Foundation. This year, the class of 2018 includes one of the college's most impressive number of international graduates. That group includes 5 Ruggieri Scholars, sponsored by the Warren Buffett Foundation, and 9 students in the second cohort of the Higher Life Foundation's Andrew J. Young International Scholars. But the 2017 academic year has also been an historic year for our Maroon Tiger Scholar athletes. Our young men continue to compete with excellence both on and off the field. Our cross country and track and field teams both won Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference titles. Both teams were led by SIAC Coach of the Year, Mr. Willie Hill. Our Maroon Tiger basketball team, which was ranked nationally for most of the season, won the SIAC East title and hosted the NCAA South Region tournament for the first time in the school's history. Coach Grady Brewer, class of 1980, won conference, state, regional, and national Coach of the Year honors in Division II basketball. And stellar athlete Tyrius Walker was named to the NABC All-American team and was the conference, regional, and national player of the year. Let's congratulate our scholar athletes for a job well done. Thank you. Now we take a moment to recognize our most senior alumni, our Platinum Tigers, those men who graduated from Morehouse more than 60 years ago. Before we do that, we'd like to pause for a moment of silence for a beloved and dedicated alumnus who, until just a few days ago, as he was looking forward to celebrating his 75th reunion, unfortunately, he passed away on May 4th, just 15 days before his reunion. We pause to remember alumnus Dr. Harvey B. Smith, the sole surviving member of the class of 1943. Thank you. And to those alumni celebrating their 70th reunion, Samuel P. Long, Moses Few, Dr. Charles Vert Willie, all classmates of our most illustrious alumnus, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. They're not here this morning, but we want to give them a round of applause because they are watching us via live satellite. Now, each year, a very special group of men reach their 50th anniversary, milestone as Morehouse men. During this special year, they were inducted into the Golden Tigers Society. Would the members of the class of 1968, including today's speaker, please stand and be recognized? They're throughout the audience as well. And now, would all remaining alumni who support our mission each and every year, those in reunion and those who are not in reunion, please stand and be recognized by this audience. We thank you for your support. President Thomas, this year our reunion classes outpaced last year's giving and presented $1.3 million last night at the banquet in cash gifts to support student scholarships. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for allowing me to share some of our good news. Now I'd like to recognize members of the Morehouse College faculty and staff who work diligently each day to make this day possible for your sons and grandsons. Would you please stand and be recognized? Members of our faculty and staff. Next, I would like to recognize our parents and guardians who helped to make this day possible. Would you please stand and be recognized by your sons and all of Morehouse College? Our Miss Marina White and her court, 2018-2019, would you please stand and be recognized at this time? And now I call upon the interim provost, Michael Hodge, to present a special award to one of our deserving faculty members. Thank you.
Good morning. Each year, Vulcan Materials Company sponsors the Vulcan Teaching in Excellence Award, which is given to a deserving Morehouse professor. Today, I am pleased to announce that the 2018-2019 Vulcan Award winner is Dr. Myesha Williams. She is a professor in the Department of Economics. Dr. Williams, please join President Thomas and me at the podium to receive your award. Gets an award, it also comes with cash.
Congratulations again, Dr. Williams. Thank you for all you do for our students. And now I would like to introduce some of our special guests who are with us this morning and ask that they stand and be recognized as I call your name. Dr. Ronald A. Johnson, President of Clark Atlanta University. Dr. Valerie Montgomery Rice, President of Morehouse School of Medicine. The Reverend Dr. Edward Wheeler, President of the Interdenominational Theological Center. Also, Dr. Loretta Parham, CEO and Director of the Robert W. Woodruff Atlanta University Center Library. Mrs. Shirley A. Massey, former First Lady of Morehouse College and wife of former President Dr. Walter E. Massey, class of 1958. Dr. Cheryl Goffney Franklin, former First Lady of Morehouse College and wife of former President Dr. Robert Michael Franklin, class of 1975. And Dr. June Gary Hops, former board chair of Spelman College and widow of the late former Morehouse Provost, Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. John Hops Jr., a member of the class of 1958. It's now my honor to recognize a significant milestone in the life of the college and in the life of one of our most distinguished alumni. For the first time in the college's history, a living alumnus and former president of the college has a fully funded and endowed professorship named in his honor. 3 years ago, the college received a very special gift of $500,000 from the Andrew Mellon Foundation. The gift established an endowed professorship in honor of the contributions and achievements of our 9th president, Dr. Walter E. Massey, as he retired from the Mellon Board in 2016. As part of the challenge, the college needed to raise $1 million to fully endow a professorship named for Dr. Massey. Today, I'm pleased to announce that Morehouse College has completed the funding challenge. Please join me in applause. And President Massey Would you please stand so that your alma mater can salute and congratulate you? And thank you, Dr. Massey, for all you've done to create the platform that I stand on today to build the Morehouse for the 21st century. We are also honored to introduce you now to the first professor who will hold this distinguished chair, a distinguished associate professor of chemistry. This person is known for rigorous teaching and research and holds 2 patents for her innovative work in sciences. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Dr. Juana Mendenhall, the first Walter Eugene Massey Endowed Professor of Physical Science. Dr. Mendenhall, please stand. Great thing about being president of a college at this season in my life is that you get to see amazing faculty members like Dr. Mendenhall, which allows you to see the future. And the future for the generation of ideas that change the world is bright at Morehouse College, thanks to professors like Dr. Mendenhall. And thanks to the work of those who came before her, such as Dr. Massey. So it's wonderful to congratulate and celebrate that combination of the past and the future. And now it's my privilege to do a special presentation to recognize our class salutatorian. For 4 consecutive years, this gentleman has maintained an impressive 3.99 cumulative grade point average. And just so you understand, that's 3.99 out of a possible 4.0. So allow me to introduce our salutatorian, Mr. Matthew B. Young. Matthew is a biology major from Los Angeles, California. And is the son of Dr. Harding B. Young and Kimberly Young. Also, Matthew's grandfather, Harding B. Young Sr., was the first African American to earn a doctorate from the Harvard Business School. Matthew is a member of Phi Beta Kappa, inducted in his junior year. Matthew is the highest ranking scholar in the Department of Biology and the second highest ranking person in his class. He was vice president of the Health Careers Society and the Morehouse Soccer Club, served as an organic chemistry peer-led team leader, and was a member of the Insight Initiative, a student-led volunteer organization that tutors and mentors elementary school students. And this fall, Matthew will continue his family legacy by attending the Morehouse School of Medicine. In that choice, he follows his father, who was a member of the Morehouse School of Medicine's first graduating class in 1981. Matthew, please join me on the stage and receive your award. Thank you, Matthew, and congratulations on a job well done. Now, because no one does it alone, we'd like to recognize the members of Matthew's family. Would you please stand? Job well done. Now I'd like to introduce you to our distinguished valedictorian, Mr. Derek Lawan Parker. Derek is a native of my hometown, Kansas City, Missouri, and the son of Derek Parker Sr. and Nicole Courtney. A political science major and first-generation college student, Derek is the top-ranking scholar among the class of 2018 with a grade point average of 4.0. Excellence meets perfection. He is a member of Phi Beta Kappa, inducted in his junior year. He is a Gates Millennium Scholar, a Sidley Austin LLP Scholar, a White House HBCU All-Star, and a Harry S. Truman and U.S. Rhodes Scholar finalist. He has also received numerous other scholarships. A presidential ambassador, Derek has also been a member of a number of organizations and societies, including the Morehouse College Moot Court Society, the Morehouse College Debate Team, and Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Derek has already served as an intern for U.S. Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus Foundation, and is campaign manager for Kansas City Councilman Jermaine Reed. After being accepted into 19 law schools, including the University of Pennsylvania, Yale University, and Cornell University, Derek will attend Harvard Law School on a full scholarship.
Yes, yes, Pete. Let's go.
A man of Morehouse, Derek hopes to return to his hometown to address issues of homelessness, unemployment, and failing schools. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our valedictorian for the class of 2018, the great 1-8, Mr. Derek Lawan Parker, as he joins me on the stage.
To President Thomas, the Board of Trustees, distinguished faculty and staff, honored guests, friends and family, but most of all to my brothers. To the graduating class of 2018, good morning. Nearly 48 months ago, we set out on a journey that some did not believe was possible. For they told us to look to our left and look to our right. The critics told us that we would not make it in an institution of higher learning. The world told us that we were not innately endowed with the critical and analytical apparatus needed to navigate a complex society. But look at us now. We have proved the naysayers wrong. We made it. Through the late night study sessions, we made it. Through the long days in Club Woody, we made it. Through the Hump Wednesdays and Thirsty Thursdays and Market Fridays, my brothers, we have made it. And yes, through those long financial aid lines, standing there wondering if we would live to see another day at the house, we have made it. We are here. But let me just say that unpredicted was my presence in this place, on this stage. You see, I'm not supposed to be here, and no one could have imagined my success here at Morehouse College. Because like many of you, I too am a first-generation college student. My great-grandparents did not have a college education or an education period. They grew up in a little town called Wabasiki, Arkansas, and they had 22 children with the hopes of having enough boys to raise cattle on the farm. My mother, a machine operator, my father, a barber, and they gave everything they had so that I might be able to live a better life than the one that they have lived. And as a result of their hard work, sacrifice, and commitment to my success, as well as their unconditional love, I stand before you today, not just as the first college graduate in my family, but also as the valedictorian of one of the greatest institutions of higher learning that the world has ever known. Morehouse, I thank you for taking us frightened yet idealistic boys who arrived here full of desire and unbridled energy and allowing us to channel our thoughts, sharpen our ideals, and corral our confidence, all while inspiring us to reach beyond our grasp. You turned boys into men. You allowed us to be individuals while living and functioning as a group with common goals and aspirations. Class of 2018, the end is here, but so is the beginning. In a world where minorities are still being disenfranchised, Morehouse men, we are needed. In a world where poverty still runs rampant, brothers, we are needed. In a world where adequate health care is still not a reality, or where access to education is still not readily available to those who desire it, brothers, we are needed. We are at a pivotal moment in our lives, and we stand on the precipice, gazing into yet more uncertainty. But the only thing certain about uncertainty is that it will always be uncertain. Class of 2018, this is our chance to answer that call of service and to become actively engaged in the promise of America. 1925 graduate Dr. Howard Thurman said, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do that, because what the world needs is people who have come alive." Morehouse men, it's time for us to let the world know that we are alive and well, because far too many in America believe that we are dead or dying. Therefore, we must be alive in the conviction that we must be the catalyst of innovation and ingenuity and inspiration. We must be alive to right the wrongs of our neighborhoods and our communities. Let us be alive in the notion that we are the ones who are tasked with addressing the gargantuan challenges of the 21st century. There is no shortage of problems, but we are deficient in manpower to handle the task. as we strive to lift up a nation rife with racial bigotries and racial biases. Brothers, the world needs us. The future is dependent upon us. In fact, I believe it was our own Dr. King who said that, "I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds the future." My brothers, and that is us. We hold the future to change what happens in our states. We hold the future to change this country. My brothers, we hold the future to transform the world. So this is why when I look out into the future, I am not afraid. I'm not afraid because I see our classmates like Devin Smith and Christian Mackey raising hell on Wall Street. I see people like Tyshawn Key and Christian and Justin Henderson who will go into the world and change it with fighting for justice and equality as attorneys. I'm not afraid because I see people like Ibrahim Kante and Nathan Harris who will expand our horizons through technology, and people like our very own Matthew Young who will change medicine as we know it. We don't have to be afraid because we have people like Cameron Rollins and John Cooper who will ensure that our generation is never without a leader. Or people like Hilliard Jones and Keith Mattier who will be in the classroom as professors to make sure that the next generation of Americans has the education they need. Oh no, brothers, I'm not afraid, and neither should you be. I'm not afraid because for the last 4 years, I've walked through the shadows of Dr. King as he stood watch over this campus, and his words resonated deep in my mind and in my soul. And so I'm not afraid because Carlyle is right. No lie can live forever. I'm not afraid because William Cullen Bryant is right. Truth crushed to earth will rise again. I'm not afraid because James Russell Lowell is right. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadow, keeping watch above his own. Oh no, brothers, I'm not afraid, not afraid, not afraid, and neither should you be. Class of 2018, this is our time and this is our space. We have things to do and places to go. There are lives to change and differences to make. We have children to feed and homes to build. There is a nation to heal and a world to repair. And so let it resound from this time and from this place that on May 20th, 2018, with the sending forth of the newest graduates of Morehouse College, that the world will be forever changed. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek, and congratulations on a job well done. You are an outstanding example of the quintessential Morehouse man. And because we know you did not get here alone, I would like for members of Derek's family who are here today to please stand so that we can recognize you. Thank you. It is now my distinct honor to introduce our commencement speaker this morning. Morehouse has many sons who have made their mark in the world and left their alma mater proud of their sterling record of many accomplishments. The Honorable Sanford D. Bishop Jr. is definitely one of them. In fact, when he left Morehouse College in 1968, his path to success was predictable already. The Emory University School of Law was followed by service in the U.S. Army with an honorable discharge. Then he was on his way as a primary partner in the law firm Bishop and Buckner. With seemingly meteoric speed, Sanford Bishop moved in commendable context as he served in both the Georgia House of Representatives and the Georgia Senate. Therefore, no one was surprised when he was elected to Congress in 1992. It is difficult to find anyone who has not been touched or influenced in some way by Bishop's use of the legislative process to create a higher, better quality of life for all citizens, whether by jobs and a more diversified economy, improved educational opportunities, safety measures for both rural and urban communities, a clean environment, affordable and accessible health care, energy independence, and numerous other benefits to make life better for all citizens. We pause today to express commendations to this man of many forays of servant leadership. Serving on the House Committee on Appropriations, the Congressional Black Caucus, as senior whip in the 112th and 113th Congresses, and as chairman of a Democratic House Task Force on Homeland Security. Therefore, Morehouse is immensely proud to welcome home one of her distinguished sons, a notable man of the year, a beloved advocate for children, and a servant of the people. I give you the Honorable Congressman Sanford D. Bishop, Jr.
President and Mrs. Thomas, and thank you, sir, for that very kind introduction. President and Mrs. Franklin, President and Mrs. Massey, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, students, staff, members of the 2018 graduating class, members of the reunion classes, particularly the class of 1968, alumni, family, friends. I bring you greetings from the 435 members of the United States House of Representatives, the 100 members of the United States Senate, and specifically from the 49 members of the Congressional Black Caucus, led by a dynamic, bold, and courageous young man by the name of Congressman Cedric Richmond of Louisiana, a Morehouse man, class of 1995. I bring you greetings from my wife, Vivian, and from the 730,000 people of the 2nd Congressional District of Georgia, which makes up 29 counties of Middle and Southwest Georgia. And I thank them for allowing me to serve them in Washington for 26 years. And I bring you greetings from our ancestors. I bring you greetings from Morehouse men, wherever they are, living, dead, or yet to be born. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I am truly grateful for the opportunity to share this great day in your lives. Not just for you graduates, but also for parents and those who prayed, who worked, who sacrificed and supported you so you could reach this milestone. There is no greater honor than to be asked to be a commencement speaker, and no greater honor for me than to be asked to be the commencement speaker on my 50th anniversary of graduation from Morehouse College. But I am not so vain and I am not so foolish as to believe that this great assemblage of people has come here at 8 o'clock on this Sunday morning to hear Sanford Bishop speak. I know better. I know you are here to either receive your degrees or to witness a relative, special friend, or student receive his degree. If you work at the college, You had no choice but to be here. If you are in one of the reunion classes, particularly the class of 1968, you are here to celebrate your 50th class reunion, to meet and to greet your classmates, to fellowship, to reminisce and reflect on those long past years when we were all a few pounds lighter, in better health, had a full head of hair, and the hair that we had on our heads was not gray. A funeral director friend of mine told me that a good commencement speaker should consider himself like the body at an old-fashioned wake. They need you for the party, but they don't expect you to say much. So I know my place here this morning, and I promise you I will be brief. Class of 2018, we are proud of you. Just a little while ago, you were starting elementary school, and now you are about to become Morehouse College graduates. Many of you have defied the odds. Many of you have had to struggle. I'm proud of you and so thrilled for your families who sit out there beaming with pride and joy that you have made it to this day. You make your families and those who care about you proud. They've had some sleepless nights and some uncertain days, but they had faith in you and in Almighty God that you would succeed and not falter in your pursuit of this baccalaureate degree in higher education. Today, you are joining the ranks of generations of men spanning over 151 years who have been molded and shaped into Morehouse men by an institution with a rich history and a deep commitment to developing black men so as to empower them to change the world. During your matriculation here, you have been infused, voluntarily and involuntarily, with a confluence of ideas and forces by faculty, mentors, fellow students, friends, events, experiences, circumstances, intellectual and non-intellectual, academic and non-academic, in countless ways that have impacted your life to shape you and mold you into the quintessential Morehouse men, well-read, well-spoken, well-traveled, well-dressed, and well-balanced. Men who know that from you there is, in the words of Benny Mays, an air of expectation. We expect you to do well. We expect you to excel. And we expect you to be confident. But we expect your confidence not to be conceit, but rather to be modest self-esteem. And we expect you to give back to your communities and to give to the world community. Howard Thurman, class of 1923, said, "Over the heads of her students, Morehouse holds a crown that she challenges them to grow tall enough to wear." Well, today, class of 2018, you have grown a foot taller, but you still have a way to go before you can claim that crown. At the 1948 commencement, a young man named Martin Luther King Jr. sat where you now sit, waiting to receive his degree. He had been shaped and nurtured by the forces at Morehouse, but had no earthly idea how God had ordered his steps to impact mankind and to change the world. 20 years later, in 1968, we who today celebrate our 50th and golden anniversary commencement sat where you now sit, barely a month after Dr. King was killed, forever changed by the events of April 4th, 1968. But wait, put a pin right there. I ask you to use your sanctified Morehouse imagination and let's roll back the clock. Let's turn back the calendar to September of 1964, when the class of 1968 entered Morehouse College. Dr. Benjamin Mays was president. Dr. Brailsford Brazil was academic dean. Dr. Fred C. Lofton was dean of students. Freshman week, we gathered in the Sale Hall Chapel to hear Dr. Lofton introduce us to Morehouse. He told us that Morehouse was a special place, that Morehouse produced philosopher kings, the talented 10th, the movers and the shakers of society, men like Martin Luther King Jr., who would change the world. Not every young man who entered Morehouse, he said, was destined to be a Morehouse man. It took hard work, discipline, study, prayer, and perseverance, he told us. He told us about a student from last year who he called Spelman Willie, who spent his time at Spelman rather than in his studies. He's not back this year. And the one who goofed off and was overtaken by various and sundry distractions, he's not back this year. Then he said, as you heard the valedictorian repeat earlier, look around you. Look at the one sitting next to you. Chances are he won't be back next year. A few of us made it back. Our class entered Morehouse at a time of great challenge, at a time of controversy and a time of cataclysmic change. We entered just months after the March on Washington, where Dr. King told us about a dream that he had. Just months after the Ku Klux Klan bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, killing 4 innocent little black girls. Just months after Dr. King aroused the conscience of the nation with his letter from the Birmingham jail, which brought about the 1964 Civil Rights Bill. Just months after passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Bill outlawing discrimination based on race, creed, color, religion, national origin, in public accommodations, in employment, and enforcing desegregation of schools. And that was preceded just a few years by students sitting in at segregated lunch counters all across the South and getting on buses and taking rides for freedom. It was a time of turmoil, of changes, and of division. A month after we entered Morehouse, Dr. King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, and the next year led the campaign in Selma, Alabama that brought about the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and created the opportunity for African Americans all over the South to be elected to office, and laid the groundwork for what would come later. Dr. Mays, recognizing the transformative power of Dr. King's work and his receipt of the Nobel Prize, invited Dr. King to the campus for a convocation where he met and addressed the student body and people from the Atlanta community. He received an honorary degree from his alma mater. We as students met Dr. King. We were inspired by him and we followed him. Dr. Mays retired. Well, let me take that pen out and let's return back to April 4th, 1968, when Dr. Mays had retired and Dr. Hugh Gloster had become president of Morehouse. We finished our evening meal in the Mays Hall dining room at about 6 o'clock p.m. We went into the student lounge in Mays Hall to watch the 6 o'clock news. We saw our hero, Dr. King, in Memphis, telling us that he had been to the mountaintop and that he had seen the promised land. He said, I may not get there with you, but one day we as a people will get to the promised land. The news goes off. It's about 7 o'clock. 7:05, breaking news. As we were leaving the lounge after the news, breaking news came that Dr. King had been shot. All hell broke loose. The community around the Morehouse College campus erupted as it did all over America. White-owned businesses and other businesses went up in flames. And as the student government president, I and other campus leaders sprang into action to protect our campus buildings from damage and destruction. 5 days later, hundreds of us went to the first funeral ceremony at Ebenezer Baptist Church. Then we walked behind the mule-drawn wagon bearing Dr. King's body, following Reverend Hosea Williams, and joined by tens of thousands of people as we walked from Auburn Avenue to the campus here at Morehouse. As we walked through, I rushed to my dormitory in Mays Hall to put on my Glee Club blazer and return to the stage where we would sing for his funeral. Dr. Mays gave the eulogy, but as people filed in, we saw celebrities, dignitaries, politicians from all across the world, people that I'd only seen on television or seen pictures of in the newspaper or magazines. Got to see them firsthand. Dr. Mays gave the eulogy. Among other things, he said, "Too bad, you say, that Martin Luther King Jr. died so young. I feel that way too. But as I have said many times before, it isn't how long one lives, but how well. It's what one accomplishes for mankind that matters." That Morehouse experience caused me and countless others in my generation to commit my life to keeping Dr. King's dream alive and making it a reality. I became a civil rights lawyer, which led me to the State House of Representatives and the State Senate, and ultimately to Congress, in order to use the political process to improve people's lives. Now, to the class of 2018, you entered Morehouse at a very different era. There were persistent problems, but when you came, it was during the term of the first African-American president of the United States. The nation had apparently looked beyond color to competence. The world, we thought, had entered an era where we had moved to a racial time. The world had entered and was well into the digital age. Then 2016 came. 45 was elected. We see trouble from Russia, trouble across Europe, North Korea, the Middle East, and across the globe. Turmoil, protests, and growing unrest escalating across America. Hostility, division, continued violence. Disregard for the truth. Disregard for character values. Words of racial and national denigration flowing rapidly across cyberspace, emanating directly from the White House. The Statue of Liberty was still standing and still bearing the words, "Give me your tired, your poor, your masses yearning to be free," but those in power want to shut the door. The country, this country, has taken a turn toward a second reconstruction, an undoing of the gains for humanity that have been made in the 50 years since Dr. King was assassinated. This is the world that you will be entering, class of 2018. You must take up the struggle, but have no fear. Your Morehouse experience has prepared you. Your academic preparation, your discipline, your persistence, and your faith and your commitment to humanity have given you the tools. You truly are prepared and have the tools to change this world. R.L. Sharp wrote, "Isn't it strange how princes and kings and clowns that caper and sought us rings and common folks like you and me are builders for eternity. Each is given a bag of tools, a shapeless mass, and a set of rules, and each must make your life is flown a stumbling block or a stepping stone. Class of 2018, be stepping stones to a higher, better life for humanity." J.G. Holland wrote, "God give us men. A time like this demands strong minds, great hearts, true faith, and ready hands. Men whom the lust of office does not kill. Men whom the spoils of office cannot buy. Men who possess opinions and a will. Men who have honor. Men who will not lie. Men who can stand before a demagogue and damn his treacherous flatteries without winking. Tall men, sun-crowned, who live above the fog in public duty and in private thinking. For while the rabble with their thumb-worn creeds, their large professions, and their little deeds mingle in selfish strife, lo, freedom weeps, wrong rules the land, and waiting justice sleeps. God, give us men. God, give us Morehouse men. Class of 2018, go forth and change the world."
Congressman Bishop, thank you for those cogent words of encouragement. Your leadership in Washington and at home makes everyone at Morehouse very proud. Let's give our speaker, Congressman Bishop, another round of applause.